So Eric, we finally got you. I'm glad you were able to accommodate your schedule for us after everything. So my first question is, what, I guess, musically brought you to where you are today?
Wow, Terrell.
Heavy question.
What's musically brought me there? Oh, I mean, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with music, you know, like every day. I need more of it, okay? I'm still on the journey, you know what I mean? Like my favorite is the stuff I haven't heard yet that like grabs me, you know? So, you know, I'm grateful to all these wonderful musicians whose shoulders we stand on, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's a beautiful community, you know, both alive and not alive anymore in body, you know, that leads me to where I am and all of us, and I feel really grateful for this beautiful thing that us humans do, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna hit you with some music theory stuff.
Oh, okay.
As an arranger myself for video game orchestras myself.
All right.
I'm curious about your process when approaching Final Fantasy stuff, particularly the older stuff from like NES, Super Nintendo, where you've got these tracks that are all beeps and boops that you have to translate for actual instruments, but also it's like cool. So you're working on maybe a track that maybe has in total 8 different channels running. How do you attack something like that and expand it for a full orchestra?
Well, I mean, it's really piece specific. Is you know, I'm not trying to pun.
Sure.
But I think there's a couple like main challenges I look at. The first is that I need to retain the identity of the original in a meaningful and satisfying way, right? So, however that's achieved it's pretty important. I'm not the kind of arranger, and I'm not doing projects where we're doing like a fantasies on video game music. We want the community to feel like it's the identity of the original beloved music, just with a fresh acoustic vibrating air molecule in the hall approach.
Cool.
Having said that, like it's folly to think that you're gonna like, you know, make acoustic instruments sound like 8-bit digital sounds or something like that. That's not the goal, right? So I think that it requires a lot of imagination, is how I think about it, to make sure that you're representing the digital sounds with acoustic instruments in meaningful and satisfying ways. And for me, I mean, I'll just talk, you know, we'll get into a tiny little detail in the shop right now. I mean, I think that there's it's so easy to just like assign voices to different instruments or different groups, you know, instrument groups or things like that, when really, if you're open to using an orchestra in some somewhat less traditional orchestration combinations, I'll just put it that way, like using hybrid instrumental sounds, like I'm gonna always tie the violas and bass clarinet, you know, just for example, when I'm representing this section of this melody or this, like, you know, counter melody or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a voice, is that combination of those things, and they'll never live independently of each other in this particular chart. You know, so being open to making those kind of choices is really like one of my main moves.
Awesome.
Put it that way.
Awesome.
I guess bringing it down to almost simplistic questions. What, I guess, out of your concerts, your shows, what is your, I know they're probably all your babies, what is your favorite song to perform? Like, you know it's going to get the crowd going every single time you hit it, you play it.
I come back to Xanarkand a lot.
Oh, okay, yep.
You know?
Yeah.
It never really disappoints for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, and I'm really proud of the reduction I did of the Shiro Hamaguchi original orchestration for A New World. So, I mean, that combination between the love and the pride I feel is, you know, that's a good one for that question, I think, probably.
Yeah, that's good.
Either from an arrangement and orchestration perspective or from a wanting to live up to high fan expectation perspective, what is one of the more challenging pieces from the Final Fantasy catalog that you've faced?
Challenging to perform or to
either
arrange
or,
or orchestrate?
Either or, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say something besides that again, but I thought of when I talk about the pride, and that, like, to me, that was a huge challenge. I mean, like a really big challenge to me that I'm going to figure out a way to keep those feels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And while I'm going to bring it down to something smaller in scale, you know. So for me, that was a major challenge. What's for performing or other orchestrating? I mean, you know, the string quartet version of Fight with Seymour that we did was look at me just going to 10. You know? But you know, when I think there's a different kind of challenge in doing a radical rearrangement and still wanting to satisfy, you know, like you don't want people to feel like, whoa, this is not like the original. You want people to feel like this is nothing like the original, but it is the tune, and like I feel, you know, you gotta like
you want that core
needle.
of the tune there, yeah.
So I mean, that's doing a radical rearrangement like that, or like Troya from 4. That's another one where I did like a really radical version. I would say that those kind of things are good challenges.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do believe our time is up. So if you have anything else you wanted to add, any upcoming performances or things we should be looking out for from you?
You know, I wish I was at liberty to announce all sorts of stuff. However, I have partnerships I need to honor. I'll just put it that way.
We understand those NDAs, yeah.
You know, so I'm so excited about like the future, and I want to be like the annoying guy who can't answer that question.
That's fine, to be expected. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.